The June 2026 Power BI update introduces two enhancements that make reports smarter and easier to use: an improved date picker and a Tooltip Sentence Template. The enhanced date picker simplifies date selection, while Tooltip Sentence Templates transform tooltip data into clear, natural language insights that are easier to understand at a glance. In this video, we'll explore both features and see how they can improve the overall reporting experience. As you can see on the screen, in the drop down of the style in options format section, you can see the date picker there. So let us try make sure that we go to the settings here on the bottom right gear icon, and once I click on it, I can go to global options, global preview features, and we have to make sure that that is enabled, the date picker slicer to set relative and manual date ranges. So now that we have done, let us try to go back to the format section, and if I make the selection as a date picker, I have those options there. So prior to that, let us see, in case if I make the selection as between, I can use the slider, as you can see on the screen, the visual. I can drag that to the desired date range, or I can always go back to the start and end dates. I can pick the date here as a start date, clicking on the icon, and in the second box, I can click on the icon. So this is what traditionally we have used the slicer, right? It could be tile, it could be between, or it could you could enter the date range, etc. Now let us try to make sure that we pick the date picker as shown here. You can select the date range options. As soon as I click on that, you can see there are two tabs, manual and relative. So they have kind of integrated relative date slicer into this option itself. So you can make the selections here, like for example, date is in the last 4 days, and you can have the offset by -1 day, etc. And based on the selections, as you can see, everything is changing. You can change that to last, this, and next, or maybe select the last 2 weeks and click on apply. You can offset by 0 weeks. And once I click on apply, you have those selections there, and based on that, the other visuals will change, right? That is the basic functionality. So let us try to see what we could do by selecting the manual, right? Let me click on the icon again, and I have the option manual will open up. So I can select a particular date. For example, if I click on say 3rd June, and I can hover over whatever dates I want, I can click on the end date and I apply. Once I apply, that particular date range is selected in the slicer. It's pretty cool, and I can use the slider again. So based on the selections, all the visuals will change. This is a nice improvement because we don't have to worry about creating anything else, no other measure. So this itself, this improvement is a great help to make sure the visual will be perfectly aligned with your data, and make sure that whatever you are trying to look at the date ranges, for example, last 3 days, we have those visuals changing based off of the selections. That is the first improvement which they have made. That is a feature update which came in June 2026. And the second one is, for example, if I see, you can see all the visuals there. If I go to this particular visual and hover over any kind of data point, you can see there is some kind of natural language kind of explanation there. So let us try to see the second feature update, which is sentence format template. So for the tooltips, traditionally you can add whatever, for example, I have added a date and for x-axis total earthquakes, and I've added 4 of the fields and measures to the tooltips. So whatever you have added here, if you hover over any data point, you can see those things on the visual, right? For example, I can go and look at the properties here and make sure that the tooltips is enabled. And as you can see, there is a sentence template option. So I can enable, use the toggle buttons there, enable tooltip fields or chat specific tooltips or sentence format. Based on the selections, those are changing, right? So for example, let me try to use the latest feature, that is sentence format. And once I enable that, if I type in something here, for example, let me type in hello, and as you can see, that is shown once I hover over any data point. So what I'll do is I'll quickly paste what I've written here. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit and paste it. So prior to that, let me show you that if you want to add any field or measure, you have to use the curly braces. Then only that particular value will be picked up when you're writing in natural language. When you want to add any kind of expression explanations, you can write in natural language. But in case if you want to add any field values or measure values, use them within curly braces. So I have typed up something here. As you can see, there are curly braces too. It's a natural language I've written. So it's kind of explanation, right? Instead of the traditional tooltip, in case if you hover over any data point, this is something we will give the user much more information, so they will understand that on that particular date what happened. So this is pretty cool. This is again a new feature which is added in case if I want to create a new line or something that is not yet working in my case. Probably in future they will try to add that feature too, so that the formatting will be perfect, and you can add whatever explanations you're adding, you can add it there so that it looks good when you hover over any kind of data point. This is a cool feature which they have added. So we have looked at the date picker, and also we have looked at this particular sentence templates. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video.